Join me, five-time Paralympian Greg Westlake, as we journey across Canada to bring you incredible stories of how sport can heal, inspire, and bring communities together. This is Level Playing Field. Hello and welcome to the show. We have another tremendous episode for you, specifically 2 stories that celebrate innovation and determination. Later, we visit the Canadian headquarters of prosthetic manufacturer Ottobock, a company at the forefront of cutting-edge prosthetics. But before that, we meet 2 sport phenom, Brianna Hennessy. Whether on the wheelchair rugby court crashing and banging, or on the water, paddling as part of Canada's paracanoe team, Brianna is inspiring the next generation of female athletes.
Sport is what taught me, teamwork and discipline and my resilience, my tenacity. Sport is what sort of ignites, I guess, our love for a passion we can have in our life, but it also is very transferable to everything else that we're doing in our life, every other sort of love that we have or that we're fighting for or that we're applying ourselves to. So I think that it becomes your moral compass.
Spend any time with her, and it is easy to understand why Brianna Hennessy is an ideal role model for young athletes. As a child, teen, and young adult, she excelled in hockey, soccer, rugby, and boxing. It was in her blood. Both her parents were accomplished athletes and passed their passion on to their daughter. But in 2014, Bri was hit by a taxi, and her relationship with sport would change forever.
I grew up as an elite athlete, so for me, that was my everything, that was my purpose, that was my identity, and when that was torn away from me, I guess you just feel like super lost, like you have nothing left and you don't know who you are anymore. So for me, parasport lit that fire back in my life, in my heart, to give me a reason to get out of bed every day. So yeah, it's everything to me.
Bri's father, Harvey Hennessy, remembers the challenges his daughter faced getting back to sports.
That was her road to Damascus, where she had to show up, and she accomplished so much. Although at the beginning it was pretty dismal because she had to go a long way to climb to be able to show her incredible potential for performance in sports especially.
I think I've learned now through the parasport community that this is, I guess, what happens to most of us, but you end up in a really deep, dark depression. For me, it lasted a few years for sure, because you tend to be surrounded by other able bodies, so all you really see or focus on or hyper-focus on is what you had before and therefore what you've lost and what you can't have now. And for me, I guess that's what the parasport community brought back in my life, is opening my eyes that maybe I can have some more independence back in my life, and there are still things to enjoy and find new passions about. So for me in the hospital, I always tell the story of when I was paralyzed from my neck down at the time, I didn't really have any reason to go on, and I always talk about my dad and his Irish fiery eyes when I was telling him, I don't think I can do this. And he's like, don't you dare give up on me kind of thing. And I always bring that up because I had to decide in those moments that I was worth it. And I guess it was just little baby steps from there, yeah.
Those baby steps eventually brought Bri to the adapted version of a sport she once excelled in.
I mean, when I was in the Ottawa Rehab Center, I used to go down and watch the Ottawa Stingers, so they're the Ottawa Club wheelchair rugby team. And I couldn't believe these guys that were disabled were just ripping around in these adult battle chairs or bumper cars, just slamming into each other, and just with the biggest smiles on their faces. And that was the first time that I saw any parasport. I didn't know much about it, to be honest, before my accident. And that's where I met Patrice Desjardins, and he's a multi-time Paralympian and co-captain of Team Canada for wheelchair rugby, and he's the one that kind of welcomed me with open arms into wheelchair rugby and kind of kicked my arse into gear to get going with that, got me in a chair for the first time. So I always call him my white knight through all my, my trauma and everything that was holding me back. He kind of helped me put my pride aside.
Well, she's a little shy at first. Not anymore, but she was at first. I think it was eye-opening for her to see that there's other people with similar disabilities, spinal cord injuries, that were playing sports and had, there was a lot of hope for her to compete in a sport at any level. So I think it made a big difference in her life, and I just remember her being really excited to keep going and keep playing rugby.
Bree credits Patrice, or Pico, and Team Canada teammate Ben Perkins with helping reignite her passion for sport and life.
First thing you notice is she's an athlete right away. She's boxing, she did this, she did that. And you can tell when an athlete comes into the sport because they've got the dynamics of the game already down for the most part. They understand the positions. So that was cool to see her come right into it and just catch on quick. She gives too much credit out there. It's on her. She handled it like a champ. I mean, anything she needed or wanted to be able to get her into sport, yeah. We want players. We need players. We need free players. We need the big dogs on the court. So when she came out, we weren't too pushy. We kind of just like went at her pace, and once she started going, then we started pushing, and she took it like a champ.
Now a well-established member of the Stingers, Bree even roped me into a practice during our visit to Ottawa.
Oh!
That was too cute. With her love for sport reinvigorated by wheelchair rugby, another opportunity presented itself to Bree. She was invited out to the Ottawa River Canoe Club to try her hand at paracanoe.
I'm always up for a good challenge. I didn't even know if I could swim at that point, to be honest with you, so I was pretty scared.
So this girl shows up and she goes, "I want to paddle," and I went, "Okay, what do you want to do? Like, do you have any goals yet? What are you thinking about?" She's like, "I want to go to Tokyo," and I'm like, "Yeah, there's no chance that's happening." Yeah, I don't do miracles, I think is what I said to her. And but I was like, "Okay, let's give it a go. Let's get on the water."
Once head coach Joel Hazen got on the water in his motorboat to watch her paddle, he quickly realized he had to reevaluate his expectations, not Bree's.
Because there was no events that year, because it was like mid-COVID, we did like this virtual national championships. And so we had to do it on our course here, and you know, our course is between a rock and a tree, but it was about 200 meters long. And I knew for her to qualify for Tokyo, she had to go about 58 seconds. Here we go. Ready, set, up. And we put her out, and she comes bombing down the course, and I'm in the motorboat beside her, and I check my stopwatch, and she's at like a minute. And I'm like, hold on a second, you've been on the water a month. You've been doing this for a month, and you're at a minute.
Despite Joel's original claim that he doesn't do miracles, the duo went on to prove him wrong. Bree steadily improved, and against all odds, qualified for both the kayak and VOD disciplines of paracanoe for Tokyo.
Coming out of the World Cup, all of a sudden we got 2 events to train for, and we got 4 months to do it, going to Tokyo, and here we go.
There is Canadian Brianna Hennessy, a bit of an unknown commodity. She's from Ottawa, Ontario.
This journey's gone by so fast, and I still can't believe that I was in Tokyo. I mean, it was one of the most incredible moments of my life, I guess, right? That I definitely thought after my accident would never be a thing. So it's blown me away completely, yeah.
Bree has steadily improved in both disciplines. After finishing 5th in VOD and 8th in kayak in Tokyo, she captured the silver and bronze respectively at the 2022 Worlds, demonstrating that she can paddle with the best on the planet. But even with her success on the water, Bree hasn't given up her first parasport. On top of playing with the Stingers when in Ottawa, during the winter months, she is the only female import in the United States Wheelchair Rugby Association, playing in Tampa, Florida, where she can also paddle. And she recently made history as an integral member of Team Canada at the 2023 Women's Cup.
That was super emotional as well. I mean, it was the first time that an all-women's Canadian team to participated in any international event in the history of wheelchair rugby that dates back to the 70s here. So I think this was a huge statement for the movement of women in sport and in contact sport, which is what I love the most. But I think when we were there, it became more than, representing our country. It was pretty incredible sort of networking with all the different women, but just sharing our passion for wheelchair rugby and the intensity of it and our love for that sport.
As well as bonding with women from the world of wheelchair rugby, Bree prioritizes finding time to give back. She often works with newly injured athletes to get them involved in sport again. She did just that for Sarah Kelman.
Any woman, girl, starting in any sport, you need that role model to really show you that it can be done in any way. And I think she's a perfect role model for that. She takes the time to show interest in people. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter, able-bodied, disabled. She kind of inspires everybody by just being that positive role model, and her positivity just glows.
As Sarah says, it isn't just people with disabilities that take inspiration from Bree. She has also become a role model for her coach, Joel Hassan's daughter, Olivia.
Joel got me a horn.
Well, I admire her perseverance and her strength. Like when there's challenges, she doesn't give up. She keeps going. If I feel like something's not going my way, I just keep going, and because that's what Bree would do.
Bree credits both her parents with giving her the tools to persevere and succeed. But it was specifically her mom, who recently passed away, that instilled a desire to be a trailblazer for women in sport.
My mom raised me, showing me what it's like to sort of be a Wonder Woman warrior, and I think that's what I strive to be. That's what I want to show the world, I guess, no matter what you go through. And I feel like she's passed that torch on to me, or that sword on to me. And I have a responsibility and a dedication to showcase that, I guess, to the world. So
Bree can't wait to showcase her perseverance on the water at the upcoming Paralympics in Paris. While still not a favorite for gold, she is quite comfortable in her role.
Obviously, nothing is ever a guarantee, but I'll tell you, she'll be hanging on and giving her all for sure. So that's something that I'm looking forward to, because I know she can live up to the moment.
I'm still an underdog in this sport, and I love being the dark horse. It's my favorite place to be. Once you've reached the top, then you have all the expectations and all the eyes on you. I love surprising people. I love being underestimated. So for me, I definitely didn't expect to make Tokyo, but I think since then, I've definitely proven that I'm coming.
Bree's athletic prowess has helped her rise to the top of 2 sports. But it is her willingness to wear her emotions on her sleeve that make her such a relatable role model for everyone she meets. I don't think I've ever been on such an emotional roller coaster during an interview as I was when Bree and I sat down to talk. It was great stuff. After the break, we learned more about Bree's Paralympic passion, paracanoe on Sport Explained. Then we head to Ottobock to see how their prosthetics help people stay active. Level Playing Field. We'll be right back. Now back to Level Playing Field.
Sport Explained, Paracanoe. Paracanoe packs excitement and drama into a sprint of sheer power and finesse. Athletes race along an outdoor body of water like a river or canal. Competitors use the water as their canvas to propel through on the way to glory. The sport has 2 distinct disciplines, kayak and VAR. In the kayak event, each athlete is seated in a narrow craft with a pointed front and back. Athletes place themselves in the cockpit, located in the center of the boat. Kayaks are up to 5.2 meters long and have a minimum width of 50 centimeters. Kayakers use double-bladed paddles ranging from 208 to 228 centimeters in length. Carving through the water, athletes alternate strokes on their right and left, distributing power evenly. The VAR has a maximum length of 7.3 meters and looks much different than the kayak because it has a second hull or pontoon which acts as a support float on the left side of the craft. The outrigger connects to the canoe by two support poles in front and behind the center cockpit where the athlete sits. In VAR races, a single-sided paddle of 112 to 140 centimeters with a T-top handle is used by the competitors. Paracanoe is broken into two different groupings. KL is for kayaking races and VL is for VAR events. Both disciplines have three classifications, KL 1 to 3 and VL 1 to 3, with athletes often staying in the same numbering for each event. KL and VL1 athletes have the least function of all classes, while KL and VL3 have the most. Races in kayak and VAR are 200 meters in distance. Each athlete races in their designated lane, marked by buoys and lane numbers. The races start when the electronic start gate system releases the boats. Athletes compete to be the fastest in their heats, with the quickest times advancing from heats to the semi-finals and the final. Now you're ready to dip your paddle.
Level Playing Field. We'll be right back. Now back to Level Playing Field. Ottobock's groundbreaking prosthetic solutions have revolutionized the world of adaptive sports. They provide customized devices that enable individuals to continue playing the sports they love. People like cyclist Casey Fett.
With this knee, I'm able to do a lot more exercises in the gym, which helps me with my strength on the bike and with doing other activities.
As a member of the Ontario Paracycling team, Casey is on the fast track to fulfilling her goals as an aspiring Paralympian. Ottobock is helping with that. As a single-leg amputee, she uses their products in her day-to-day life, including working at the company, sculpting fingers, hands, toes, and feet to help make prosthetics appear as realistic as possible. The products also have had a profound impact on her sporting career.
I wear an Ottobock knee. It's a Genium. It's a computerized knee, and it has saved me many times from falling and stumbling when I'm walking around and doing small steps at my bench. I also wear an Ottobock foot, and it has a lot of adjustments and flexibility that can let me do the activities that I want to do.
She also works at the company to help give back.
I wanted a hands-on job, and Ottobock gave me that opportunity of being a technician and helping people in the medical field, but just making the prosthetics and doing the hands-on work that day-to-day I really enjoy.
Casey's passion to give back is mimicked by the company she works for. Ottobock has taken its love of helping people with mobility needs all the way to the international stage, running a completely free repair clinic at the Paralympics and other major games. Kevin Martin got his first taste of working with athletes at the Toronto Para-Pan Am Games in 2015, and his second in 2021 in Tokyo.
Ottobock being there as a presence, we're just showing that we really are here for people. We're really here to help people maintain and regain their freedom of motion day-to-day and also high performance. So we're there to take the worry out of it for the athletes and the support. So athletes coming in can know that if they have an issue, even during a match or 2 weeks before when they're practicing, that we're going to be there and we're going to do everything we can to make it better for them, to make them be able to perform at their like top notch.
The technicians who get chosen to go to the Paralympics often fall in love with parasport and the intensity of the games. That's exactly what happened with Kevin when he got to work the sidelines of wheelchair rugby in 2015.
Being down courtside, and just you can feel when they hit each other. So you can feel it in your bones, like they're hitting so hard, and the amount of energy they're putting into into this game is so intense. And then also seeing those chairs afterwards, and they have 1/4-inch plates of aluminum across the front, and they're bent and they're cracked, and yeah, just the amount of power these guys are putting into it. It's really cool to see. My goal is to try to get to as many games as I can and be there for the support and to help out. Just being part of it is amazing.
Ottobock doesn't just help people in high-performance sport. They want to be involved right from the start. One man who has benefited from Ottobock's technology and hands-on approach to enable his sporting dreams is Manjot Dinsa. As a para-ice hockey player, his Ottobock knee allows him to train in the gym, giving him an edge on the ice.
Ottobock did everything they could, sent me out 2 different blades, the knees, everything. Didn't care how long it took. A competitor didn't send me out a loaner to try. So, it's night and day difference.
John Marsh is a sales rep for technical orthopedics at Ottobock in the Vancouver area. He worked closely with Manjot and his care team to find the right product for him.
It's designed with the human anatomy obviously in mind. It wants to mimic the human leg as much as possible. But durability, especially for someone like Manjot, is going to be paramount. It's designed to keep up with him in whatever he wants to do, whether that's, as you say, going in construction, working out. It's designed to do that, but do that safely.
I push myself as hard as I can in the gym. A week after I got my prosthetic, I started deadlifting again. And that was a huge feeling like, okay, I can actually do this again. I think that really helps with the just overall aspect of being comfortable around people and a day-to-day life. Like that really, really helps.
As a double-leg amputee, I know firsthand how important it is to have prosthetics that allow you to live the life you want to live. The other thing worth noting is the impact their technical team makes at the Paralympics. They are a group of unsung heroes behind the scenes at the Games. And that's all the time we have for this installment of Level Playing Field. Thanks for watching. Host, producer, Greg Westlake. Senior producer, director, Ted Cooper. Director of photography, senior editor, Matthew McGurk. Integrated described video consultant, M. Williams. Supervising producer, Michelle Dudas. Produced by Evergreen Productions. Copyright 2023.